What's up, y'all? I'm going to explain why these four movements should be in your weekly rotation. I usually start my workouts with the compound movement just to get all the juices flowing and jumpstart the activations needed for the workout. Those being the maximus, hamstrings, adductors, your core, and your quad. Hip thrust has become my number one staple in my glute day, and I do not start the day without it simply because it's a targeted compound for glute development, power, and lockout strength. So my main focus here isn't repetitions, it's mainly just form and power. So my warm-up usually starts here with the 2 plates, that's 225, and I go for 8 to 10. After the 8 to 10, I realize that I'm comfortable and now it's time to up the weight. So now, as we got 1 to 2 reps in so far, look at the form. My chin is tucked and I'm pushing the bar away from myself, but I'm hinging up and forward. And I'm sitting back down and I'm squeezing at the top and contracting my glutes. So here's where people kind of get the idea of an isolation confused. Yes, it can be considered as a compound isolation because you can see that there's multiple muscle groups working together, but it's a narrower range of motion and muscle involvement. So it is limited, yes, and that's because it involves the movement at the hip joint while your knees are static, but they're still engaged. All right, it's time to up the weight. Let's go. So now, as you progress, be comfortable with upping the weight. This is how you're going to grow your glutes. Your glutes will not grow if you're remaining on the same weight level throughout the full duration of your training period. You want to increase over time without burning yourself out, and always remember to remain comfortable, but still know that there's room to up the weight, especially if you can do more than 8 to 10 reps. So this is me getting kind of annoyed at my coach for stopping my set, and it's only because I felt like I had more in the tank to go for 10. But again, we're not doing a full range of reps. We're focused on power and form and repetition. So I don't want to necessarily overload in between each set, only because I know that it's time for me to still go up. Now, I had struggled with 4 plates last week. I want to say that this is about 405. 405 moved like butter. It was slow, but it moved like butter. I didn't struggle as much as I did last week. So let's see how I go for my end set, which is my top set.
Think about how many times you're going to get it. Just know you're going to get it. Don't think about it. All you know is stand up with it. Don't think about it. Same effort like you did before. Put your heart and soul into what you're doing. Everything else will take off from there. Get them off. Come on, come on. What was that? What is that? Huh? What was that? Hold that. More effort. Off. There you go. Get more. Off.
Here we are at my end set, my top set, and I didn't go in with enough power, and I kind of almost psyched myself out simply because I didn't, or I wasn't aware of how the weight was going to feel. And this is okay. This part is definitely okay because you do have to at least try it once so you can get a feel of how heavy something is. Now, my coach is trying to obviously be motivational with this foot on the bar, which is really not helping me because he wanted me to fully unrack myself and set myself back up. And I told him, I was like, yo, I already done set myself up under this damn bar. There's no way that I'm redoing this. So I went for something that he would call one, but in my mind this is half of one because he had to assist. Granted, he doesn't necessarily hold the weight for me, but it's like a mindset thing. It's like it's tricking my mind as if he is helping me. But trust me, my hips were screaming at this point. And again, I won't necessarily encourage everyone to try this, but if you do, again, want to keep progressing, try to up the weight if you can, and if you can't, it's fine. If you can't get a full one, that's fine. We can always come back and try again next week. Now, this next move is what I would like to call a 2-for-1, the hyperextension or the booty builder, if you will. This move is for the way your glute rounds at the top. Being that it's a posterior chain movement, it targets muscles along the backside of your body, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your lower back. During a hip thrust, like we just saw, with the hyperextension, it is performed as a hinge movement, so they both support posture, power, and stability. Also, if you're like me, this can also help with deadlift progression. This is pretty straightforward. If you do have this machine, I would definitely say utilize it. And now, in my opinion, it's not a glute day if you don't have a superset. The easiest way and quickest superset, in my opinion, will always be step-ups. Now, step-ups are also a compound movement. People think it's an isolation, and I get it because you're doing a single leg exercise. But when you're targeting 1 to 2 areas at a time during a unilateral movement, you're training multiple joints that are working together, that being the hip, knee, and your ankles. Doing these help build strength and symmetry between your legs. So this is great for correcting those muscle imbalances while also improving balance and coordination. I do think if you're a quad dominant girly, this will help build your quads the quickest. But as long as you're changing the direction in which you are either bending your knee a little more or leaning forward, you can target your glutes as well. And I think that is where you will see the most connection from. And it's easy to build that mind and muscle connection as long as you're pushing through your heel and extending out, so that way you can feel the full contraction in your hamstring. So I want to say that this clip was around my last set and I was getting a little tired, but you still want to make sure that you are contracting all the way up and increasing that range of motion. So instead of me kind of almost looks like I'm stopping in the middle, I'm trying to go as up as high as I can. But again, I did increase the weight, so it was a little bit more challenging. I don't know if I mentioned, but I think I did everything for about 4 to 6 sets. Obviously, depending on which movement it was, it's lower repetitions focused on power and form. Here, I think we did about anywhere between 12 to 20 sets. It depends on how high the weight was increased, but just trying to remain consistent and making sure I hit all those muscle imbalances, and I'm making sure everything, what I do to one side, I'm doing it to the other. Also making sure I'm focusing on that lower back strength as well, because what we have done already for the past 3 exercises was all posterior chain movements, so anything along your spine as mentioned before. Now, before I go, you're actually about to see a seated leg curl, which is an isolation movement because it targets one primary muscle group, the hamstrings. Now, I do want to sum up the differences between certain movements is that other focuses on stabilization, but doesn't necessarily drive the movement. So those are all the muscles we talked about that work together with the joints that to fully lock out the movement, which is why you should set up your routines with movements that can work together rather against each other. Here's to more progression and better development. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you for staying locked in. You're not just watching, you're evolving. Like, comment, and subscribe for more fitness, wellness, and lifestyle realness.